Yep, the whole season. Visit paypal.com/P2P sweeps. No purchase necessary. See website for details, including how to enter by mail. Brought to you by PayPal, official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL.
News now on 102.7 The Game.
Reporting for Cromwell Media News, I'm Rob Nichols. Tell City is marking a milestone as officials announce the completion of the long-awaited River Road project. More than a decade in the making, construction began in phases, initially sparking jokes about it being a road to nowhere. That all changed with the recent finish of Phase 2, connecting Highway 66 directly to the Riverport. Mayor Chris Kale highlights the new road benefits, better access to the Riverport, less truck traffic downtown, and increased opportunities for economic growth. A dedication ceremony was delayed yesterday and is supposed to happen at 4 p.m. today. Community tributes underway at Owensboro Memorial Gardens as they host the 28th annual Memorial Day event this week. Volunteers gathered to place American flags at veterans' graves, marking a day of remembrance and honoring local heroes. The observance continues Saturday with a formal ceremony at 2 p.m. and a veterans' food drive. Attendees are invited to bring non-perishable food items, with all donations supporting a local food bank aiding veterans in need. And the Kentucky Attorney General's office is looking into dozens of complaints that came in during the primary. Officials say 150 reports of various violations were made on Tuesday. Nearly 30 of those reports came from voters in Fayette County alone. The AG's office has not said yet whether any of the complaints were connected to serious election law violations. For Cromwell Media News, I'm Rob Nichols.
When something goes wrong with your plumbing, it never happens at a good time. It happens fast, and it needs fixed fast. Call RFI Plumbing. We're local, licensed, fully insured, and ready to handle everything from emergency leaks to everyday repairs and full plumbing projects. No guesswork, no runaround. Just clear communication, quality work, and a good job done right. When it matters most, trust the local pros at RFI Plumbing.
Looking for a way to give back to our local farmers? Cromwell Media presents Meal in the Field, where we provide deserving farmers with a fresh, locally sourced meal, thanks to your nominations. If you know a farmer who deserves to be recognized, visit owensbororadio.com/mealinthefield to nominate them today. A big thank you to our supporting sponsors, Mid-America Grain Solutions and Doozy Doe's Bakery, for helping make Meal in the Field possible. Nominate your favorite farmer now at owensbororadio.com.
And now, Western Kentucky weather on 102.7 The Game.
Here's your 14 First Alert forecast for the overnight hours. Mostly cloudy with a stray shower possible. Lows drop down into the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. And then widespread rain and thunderstorms return for Friday, mainly through the morning and afternoon before becoming more isolated into the evening hours. A strong to severe storm can't completely be ruled out. Highs top out in the upper 60s to around 70 with more spotty showers and thunderstorms possible through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Michael Fecka with your 14 First Alert forecast.
From the Floor Concept Studios, ESPN Radio, all sports, all the time. Kentuckiana sports leader, 102.7 WLME, Lewisport, 102.7.
On the air. On the air.
102.7.
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
Answers, Clarence. Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to
Live at 5.
It's Live at 5, and it's brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtree, FWHlegal.com. And now, your host for Live at 5, Stephen A. Turner.
What's up and welcome to Live at 5, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtree. That's one call for injury law, FWHlegal.com. Stephen A. Turner here in the Floor Concept Studios, joined by Coach Vic Evans.
How you doing, man?
I just rolled into some breaking news into the studio, and it's not great news.
It is not great news, unfortunately, in the sports world.
I'm going to pause all the intro, and we'll
do that when we come back.
Yeah, we'll get to the show in just a little bit. We're going to go to the Green River Area Federal Credit Union hotline right now and get the voice of Let's Talk Racing, Blake Smith. Blake, you with us?
I am Stephen A. Good afternoon, Vic. Good afternoon, Steve.
Yeah, it's not news I expected to walk into. Tragic news has struck NASCAR this afternoon as legendary driver Kyle Busch has passed away at the age of 41 years old. And Blake, what do you know about this, man? I mean, I know that there's been some medical things. I heard he called for doctors over the radio recently, and then he was hospitalized, I think, yesterday, and they announced he wasn't going to drive this weekend. But it struck me and completely, I thought maybe it was just precautionary hospitalization. What are the details out there, Blake?
There's not much news released yet, Stephen A. Just come down the pipe from, of course, Charlotte. NASCAR being in Charlotte this weekend. All the teams and families are there for this weekend's Coca-Cola 600. They released this morning that Kyle would not be in the car, nor his ride for the Truck Series in the number 7 on Friday. They advised that Austin Hill would be driving that number 8 machine on Sunday due to Kyle Busch being hospitalized. But then it was released this afternoon that the two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and generational talent has unfortunately passed.
Yeah, I mean, he was a guy, kind of like for me that I'm not a huge NASCAR fan, but, had that personality that you'd love to hate a little bit of the drivers that were out there. He kind of had that about him. And I mean, this is, normally when you have something like this that tragically happened, it's a wreck or it's a crash in the race or, a plane crash or something like that. That when you saw that news today that he wasn't going to be in the car, I'm like, Steve, you see these guys that take, 200 mile an hour, going 200 miles an hour and crash into the wall and they're back in the car the next day and then, they're driving with broken bones. It just really hits homes that sometimes we just take for granted of what these guys go through.
It really is. You think, like you mentioned, some of the hits these guys have taken over the years. I mean, Kyle had the accident at Daytona a few years back, took him out for quite a few number of races. But, hard to believe the passing of Kyle Busch. Of course, Kyle driving the number 8 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet here in the last number of years. He was in his 22nd full-time season in NASCAR, and unfortunately, we've lost a generational talent in the sport, and maybe one of the most polarizing people in the sport. But sad news to come out of NASCAR today.
Yeah, I mean, he just won the truck race, didn't he, this past weekend, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
He did. He won the truck race at Dover on Friday, picking up over his 1,000th lap, led at a single track. And, seemed to be in his media statements on both Friday and Sunday seemed to be in good health and in good spirits. Everything seemed fine. And then the news comes out this afternoon. Like I said, this morning released that he would be out of the car at Charlotte, both the car and the truck. They'd had those drivers' replacements announced, but definitely sad news coming out of the NASCAR garage this afternoon.
No doubt. And Kyle Busch, not just a NASCAR driver to the public, but a husband and a father. I mean, I follow him a little bit with his son just starting to get rolling and, his mentorship of that. I love watching the videos between the two of them interact. And I think it'd be key to keep that family certainly at the forefront of your prayers going through just an absolute difficult time. And you look at his son, I feel like he's getting ready to pass the torch. There'll be another Busch coming up here already hitting the late model circuit in the dirt tracks.
Yeah, with Brexton out there running, of course, he's also a teammate to Owensboro Stetson Stroop. Dakota's son runs dirt with him as well. So connection to Owensboro. Kyle's been in Owensboro, had been in quite a bit here lately. It wasn't known, but he was out there usually turning laps at KMS, making some practice laps in the late model for he and Brexton. So, definitely sad news. And like I said, with the Owensboro connection of the Stroop family as well, definitely heartbreaking news to be released out of the NASCAR garage and one of the most celebrated weekends, Memorial Day racing weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you got as you talk about Memorial Day weekend, you got, the double. You have, was it Catherine Legg trying the double where they're racing in Indy, then come down to Charlotte. This is always a huge NASCAR weekend, and this kind of put a damper on the entire race weekend, Blake.
It really has a huge racing weekend. Of course, Kyle had talked about he'd like to do the double one day, to do the double between the 600 and the Indianapolis 500. And like you mentioned, a huge racing weekend, but definitely sad news today, and it's going to put a damper on not only this weekend, but the entire racing season as well.
No doubt, Blake. Thanks for giving us some time, man, and be sure and keep it locked out there to Blake Smith on social media. Let's Talk Racing on social media for the latest on this tragedy, unfortunately. Blake, take care this afternoon, man.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. That's Blake Smith, the voice of Let's Talk Racing, and does a great job on social media covering all forms of motorsports. Be sure and check him out there on social media. But man, that's a tough way to start a
It
show.
is. I mean,
man.
it's like I said, and it especially when you're in the heart of things, you kind of think back. It kind of reminds me of like the Payne Stewart story. It's one thing like Earnhardt because it's in the race and it's kind of part of it, but like where Payne Stewart had won the U.S. Open and just a few years, was a year and a half later, he's flying a plane to go somewhere and they have the malfunction in the plane, and it's amazing as much as these guys, you think about as much as they travel and they go from coast to coast and private this and private that, and some of them have their own helicopters. But I think that's what kind of catches you off guard more, that it wasn't in like, that's kind of how when tragedy happens in NASCAR, you think of in the track or on the track. And here is, as you said, he won the truck race last week. There was a medical issue in that Sunday, but he finished the race and finished 10th.
Yeah.
And then he felt like it was okay. Then you hear about him being hospitalized late last night. And then them saying, today that he would not be in the car or the truck. And you thought, I hope he's, but then to come out and like, just 20 minutes ago, it was released that, he had passed. And as you said, sometimes we see these athletes, and no matter what Stephen A. Smith says, NASCAR guys are athletes. Go pull those G-forces that they're pulling and how they're doing in that heat in the car. But we forget that they are husbands and they are fathers. And we knew about Kyle because his young son's kind of like the next superstar to come up.
Yeah.
And, that's who I really feel for.
Oh, no doubt. The family has got to be crushed right now. I mean, it's just a terrible situation. It's weird at NASCAR. I feel like NASCAR in general, and it's not necessarily due to crashes. It just feels like they've lost generational talents as much as any sport, probably more. Professional wrestling is the only one that really comes to mind where guys are just gone too soon.
Right.
But that one makes a little sense in how they've taxed their body and maybe their travel routine and
the juicing,
the schedule
and the juicing,
and then the off the the off the drugs, whatever you might want to throw in.
Kind of like rock stars,
the dark side of things,
the dark side
but
on the
NASCAR
road.
is not that way.
It's
you've lost Alan Kwiecki, you've lost Davey Allison. Those two just jumped to your mind as two generational guys. NASCAR champion. Kwiecki was a champion. Allison was right there in the mix.
Well, and then all that, like the young Petty, Kyle's son, who was coming up, was going to be that was a bright young racer that was just starting to start his career off.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just completely out of nowhere. No doubt. It's a big loss for NASCAR. And I'm sure everybody's a little shook. There's a big late model race tonight at Hickory, one of the old tracks. ASA's running there tonight. Chase Elliott will be running, or if the weather cooperates. But it's just I'd be interested to see the shock waves and all that.
And as we said, the biggest race weekend probably in the worldwide look at racing, because it used to be you'd had the Monaco Grand Prix, which is kind of the crown jewel of Formula One. It's been moved now. So you've got the Canadian Grand Prix in the morning, leading right into the Indy 500, leading right into the Coca-Cola 600. And so, just such a monster race weekend. And this kind of touches all of it.
No doubt. No, it's terrible tragedy. Keep the Bush family in your prayers. Certainly a tough time. We'll just pause it right there. And
that's fine.
We'll take a little break real quick, and then we'll come back. We do have some good news. We'll switch gears a little bit, talk a little Kentucky Wesleyan basketball. I got prepared a little segment for that. We got a Van Atten's Pitmaster Barbecue Sauce LA5. Talk a little Major League Baseball. It's just going to be a
potpourri show.
Getting
close to that time of year for a bunch of potpourri shows.
It's going to be that time of year where you're just kind of putting some topics together. But there is some good news on the Kentucky Wesleyan basketball front. We'll pause it for Karen Gross, realtor with RE/MAX Professional Realty Group. Your dream is her mission. Give her a call at 270-315-9810 or find her at karengross.net. It's live at 5, 1027 The Game.
What distinguishes Foreman Watson Houltry from many other law firms? It's the pride we take in the communities we serve, stemming from the deep roots our attorneys have in this region. We view giving back to our hometowns as an obligation, not an option. Foreman Watson Houltry, dedicated to you, committed to justice. FWHlegal.com.
This is Travis Holtree from Foreman Watson Holtree. In the late 90s, there was a song that was popular that said, I get knocked down and I get up again. Ain't nothing going to keep me down. You know, in life, you get knocked down, but the attorneys at Foreman Watson Holtree help you get back up again. That's why we take setbacks and turn them into comebacks. Foreman Watson Holtree, dedicated to you, committed to justice. FWHlegal.com.
When you're streaming live at 5 on 102.7 The Game, you're powered by more and more Browns Valley Trucking Equipment in Utica.
For over 50 years, they've been keeping Owensboro rolling, serving truck drivers, farmers, and hardworking folks who get it done every single day.
From truck equipment and accessories to expert repairs and custom work, they're built on the same toughness and reliability you hear on this station.
So whether you're on the road or at home, tune in.
More and more Browns Valley Trucking Equipment.
Proud streaming sponsor of Live at 5 on 102.7 The Game.
Whether you're flipping burgers in the backyard or feeding a full-blown crowd, one sauce shows up ready to win. It's Van Etten's award-winning Pitmaster Barbecue Sauce. Packed with bold flavor, smoky goodness, and that straight-off-the-pit taste. Go classic with original. Turn it up with sweet heat. Or bring the fire with hot and spicy. However you grill it, make it unforgettable. Grab yours today at Hillview Farms, Rural King, or Reed's Orchard. Van Etten's. Pit perfect every time.
Looking for a financial partner you can trust? Look no further than Green River Area Federal Credit Union. Whether you're saving for the future, buying a new home, or need a loan, we've got you covered with competitive rates and personalized service. Join the community that cares about your financial well-being. Visit Green River Area Federal Credit Union at one of our 3 locations in Henderson, Greenville, or Owensboro and experience the difference today. Your money, your future, your credit union. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Owensboro Health is bringing healthcare right to your neighborhood. Our mobile clinic and mobile mammography clinic will be at New Life Church in Owensboro on the 3rd Thursday of each month. Stop by for walk-in care for common illnesses and minor injuries, or get a screening mammogram. The clinics are open from 9 to 3 with no appointment needed. That's walk-in care at New Life Church on the 3rd Thursday of each month. Now that's care in motion.
Got a leak? Clogged drain? No hot water? Call Jay the plumber. When plumbing problems hit, you need someone local, reliable, and ready to go. Jay the plumber handles everything from busted pipes and water heaters to remodels and everyday repairs, done right the first time.
Fast response, honest pricing, quality work you can trust. Don't let plumbing problems ruin your day. Call Jay the plumber at 270-313-0883.
That's 270-313-0883. Jay the plumber, your hometown plumbing pro.
Let's get back to Live at 5 with Steve and Coach on 102.7 The Game.
It's Live at 5, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtree, FWHlegal.com. Stephen A. Turner, Vic Evans here in the Floor Concept Studios. Be sure and download the Owensboro Radio app. You can listen anywhere in the world.
That's just, the remodeled Owensboro Radio app that Dime had, unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it used to be, let me be honest. I never had the radio app because I always thought it was a little janky.
It was janky.
Okay. And so,
you the one that got me going off the app to the OwensboroRadio.com.
Yeah, I would go out
but I did use the app the other night.
It's perfect.
And it works. Yeah.
Yeah. I never used the app. I used 1027thegame.com because that's the only station I listen to. You know how much music I listen to.
Yeah.
And now I would go to OwensboroRadio.com if there was a game on VJS and I wanted to make sure it was all running well or whatnot over here. So that's only, but I would go to 1027thegame.com, and I was talking to Brian yesterday on something, and he was like, well, just download the app. And I was like, man, I don't do the app. It's like, he's like, dude, Dime remodeled and redid that app. It's no longer janky. Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm like, so if you're looking, I mean, if you were like me and you thought, listen, I ain't downloading
it's our app.
Yeah, it's our app.
Our app sucks, man. I didn't use it.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't download it because it was janky. Yeah, it did work.
It did
but
work.
It was janky.
Yeah.
But now that app is tremendous.
It's back. Yeah.
Dime is an absolute rock star.
Yeah, he's behind the scenes just doing all kinds of stuff that makes the ship go.
Oh, 100%.
He's one of the unsung heroes.
Put him up for digital presence at the KVA award.
Put up for award, for real.
For the KVA
we'll find
award.
something for him. But
they have that digital presence.
That's certainly it. No, there's no doubt he's been a great asset to us here. But
plus he's got great hair.
He does have great hair.
He's got the best hair.
No doubt about that. I'm just completely distracted now. We are streaming on the social media platforms. courtesy of More and More Browns Valley Trucking. And you can text us out there on 270-903-0389 on the Green River Area Federal Credit Union text line. It's hard to open a show with that kind of a gut-punching news and then try to maintain good energy.
Yeah, it kind of like
there's no good
there's no segue or transition
I try to get a break
that.
in so I could like recalibrate. That's just terrible news, man, that strikes the sports world today. Let's transition. We will do that. We change the subject here and try to refocus, and let's get a little Pitmaster or Van Atten's Pitmaster barbecue sauce LA5 from backyard grills to big events. They make it pit perfect every time. Be sure and follow them on Facebook. Also, search their website. Incredible website they have.
You can buy it right there. They're unbelievable.
Tells you where all the
sauces.
locations are. Reed's Orchard, Hillview Farms.
Rural King.
You can find more locations on their website. Rural King. Van Atten's is where flavor wins, and we're excited to have them on board here every Thursday for our LA5. What we got? Question number 1.
Van Atten's LA5 number 1. The smooth operator Jorge Sanchez Ramos announces yesterday he's coming back to Kentucky Wesleyan. This puts him in the top 3 of the preseason poll of the GMAC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I
don't know.
The teams just
I don't know what the other teams are going to look like. No one knows anything. You know, you think D1's bad. D2 is like completely a mess, but I will say, adding him back into the mix, I mean, you got 3 pillars now. You got a point guard, number 1, which I felt we talked about this. We were starting our Get Jorge to Come Back campaign on social media.
So important.
It's worked. It worked. Thank you, everyone who contributed. We got him back under contract here with Kentucky Wesleyan for another year. But I thought the point guard spot in Coach Cooper's offense is just vital.
So important.
It just makes everything go. And I 4 games in, I thought the dude wasn't a point guard.
No.
And to be clear, he never played that spot before.
Right.
So there was a little bit of credence to what I was thinking because he's in a completely different spot. But by, game 6, 7, 8, this dude was rock solid, consistent. Every single game he was a player. I believe he was second team GMAC.
Second team
right?
GMAC. Yep.
So you get a second team all-conference player returning who will be first team this year. I'm putting my stamp on that one. And he joins Key Jones and Tavion Williams as a tremendous core. Those are the only guys. I'm not super clear on who else is returning, so I'm just going to go with those 3. There may be some more. Don't know about Macri. Don't know about the air fryer. I don't know, about Mahoney. There's certain guys that could still take steps, but those 3 pieces are
huge.
Great pieces. I think Tavion Williams has Conference Player of the Year. I think, and I've said this on the show before, Tavion, if you didn't get to see him very much, maybe you watched some Wesleyan games last year, he really didn't play.
Played 8 games
or
9 games.
Because they wanted to preserve his red shirt.
Yes.
But, man, in those 8 games.
Just look what he did.
We were talking about him before that, watching him warm up.
Just watching him dunk.
I think this dude can play. Like, why is he not playing? Well, then you learn he's getting preserved for the red shirt. And then he comes in. And it's mostly defense. It's mostly rebounding. The offensive light bulb didn't come on until later, and then it did come on in a full off season in this system. I think Tavion Williams is raw ability is the best Kentucky Wesleyan Panther basketball player that we've seen since we've covered it. Raw ability.
I think raw ability it may be as good as there is in the Cooper era.
Eddie's right there, but I mean, I think Tavion raw. I mean, you're talking about a true freshman.
You saw when he got, because of the way they played when they went up to Lake Erie and played in the conference tournament. That's a tough matchup for fatigue because it's a smaller team that wants to get them down the floor and run 10 guys at you and play at this unbelievable pace. And Tavion comes in. And I think in that game, he had 14 points, 12 rebounds, 7 blocks.
You said it.
It was unbelievable how good he was.
Jay Ivey will tell you that there has been a triple-double at Kentucky Wesleyan. And common sense would tell you.
Yeah, there's been too many great
players. Look at the banners up there. It's one of the most storied programs in the country. it would tell you that there's been a triple double somewhere.
Right.
But the official stat book
says no,
which is kind of incomplete.
Right. They've had to go back and try to redo
piece it together.
Yes.
Says no.
Right.
We'll officially have a triple double this year.
Yeah, he'll have a 10-10-10 game with points, rebounds, and block shots.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not much doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and I think
that's the guy that if you look at once conference play started, there were some games early, most of them on the road where he kind of struggled on the road. Like he may miss his first shot, and then he may just kind of disappear. But then he got going, and he was consistently a 16 to 6 and 8 guy, and shot it great the last month and a half of the season from beyond the arc. He was, because there for a while he was shooting about 22%, and he finished the year just right at 30, which means you had to shoot it really good the last half of the season to get that up. And so by that time, too, you saw his athletic ability, his way able to take people to the hole, to post, and then knocking down shots. I think Key's set to take another big step. And then what Jorge gives you, I mean, he was consistently a 16, anywhere from 14 to 18, and anywhere from 4 to 8 assists. Wasn't going to turn it over much. Was shooting around 40% from beyond the arc. Now, you had a terrible game against Lake Erie. He'll know that. He went like 0 for 6, but was shooting around 40%, right there just behind Levante Harris as the leading three-point shooter, a good free throw shooter. But just the way he handles the offense, the way he can change speeds, he doesn't look like the most athletic guy. And before you know it,
like
he's
very
by
athletic,
you.
But he's athletic.
Yeah, and he can finish at the rim. So he gives you that guy, too. Let's say your offense gets a little discombobulated. It's going to happen in a 30-second shot clock. And when you get down to 10 seconds and you got to go high pick and roll with somebody, he will make those teams pay, either scoring or dishing on the
pick and
roll
roll was deadly.
or finding the guy open in the corner, which he did so well.
Yeah, vision was excellent. So those three are key pieces. And then you look, and I did a deep dive. I know Wesleyan, it's hard to get news about D2 recruiting. I mean, I say that. I mean, now you have Twitter, which is where everything happens, from the committing and all that jazz. So I've kind of pulled out some guys. It looks like, and Coach Cooper said that they had nailed down a couple already. They had a couple on the hook. But you look at who is committed on social media. So take it.
The kid from Princeton.
Take it as it goes. The kid from Princeton. He'll be a true freshman. He's a 6'6" wing, but can absolutely shoot the basketball.
I talked to Coach Payne and them. Who beyond the bench here. Also Breck's new coach. They played them last year.
Yeah.
Now they did it without Jay Moss and with Michael Acton, but he said, in the beginning, we gave him the open shot. He knocked down every three-pointer he looked at. So then we went and decided we were going to run him off the line. He said the bad thing is we ran him off the line. He just went to the post and got D in foul trouble.
I mean.
So that's the kind of player you're getting.
And Coach Payne thinks he can contribute as a freshman.
Immediately. He thinks he'll be a star there.
There you go. 6'6" wing, a shooter. So you
shot 40% from beyond the arc.
You're going to see a little bit of a trend here. They also got a prep school commit. I say it's one of those in between. You know what I'm trying to say?
Prep school, it is.
Yeah. So I mean, it's high level though down in Florida. Brody Cuffey is the kid's name. 6'6" wing. You look at his stats from the season. Over 40% from beyond the arc.
Yep.
So 6'6" wing, can shoot the basketball, can put it on the floor, get to the bucket. Another very similar to the kind of player that you see from the kid from Princeton.
Right. And I was going to say, when you think about Coach Cooper's had some pretty good success with those prep school kids. A couple of years ago, they had the one from John Bosco Prep that came in, and we loved him as the backup point guard. The problem was when the postman decided to come back for that extra year, then he was like, I'm out. I'm not going to wait another year behind him. And that's where you run into. Yeah.
And they got a high-level D1 North Dakota
State
transfer, Matthew Botham, 6'9". He's a stretch. You can shoot it. You can put it on the floor. But what you're seeing is these positionless guys across the – you saw what Walsh did so well in the conference last year. And you'd even made the comment off the air like, yeah, but they need that one. They need a big body inside that can bang. And I'm like, I don't know if you do anymore. Like – do you need that dump it into the post guy? No. Or can you go 6'9", 6'11", 6'9", 6'8"?
You can. But you got to remember, too, Walsh, talk about what they did last year. They still had the big guy when they wanted to dump it in the post and go down to the post and score. I still think you need
a banger.
You need a banger every now and then to be able to, like, if you're not when you go on the road, you're not getting the calls to go down in the post and get the bucket. But I think they got a couple. I think a couple of these stretch guys that can do it all can be post players too.
If you go online and look at
and Tavion's probably going to be that guy too, even though Tavion shoots it pretty well. He's not bad on the post.
If you go online and look at the guys that they're offering, the guys they're targeting, I mean, you're looking at a lot of very versatile players that can play down low, can play beyond the arc. They got several offers on the table. 6'6" guard, Slippery Rock can shoot it. 6'8" stretch forward, JUCO player, Shore that can shoot it. So the only thing I'm not seeing in the mix there is a back. I think you're probably going to need to bring in a backup point guard because you're not going to want, in a perfect world, you're going to want to keep Jorge's minutes down to around 28 to 30 minutes.
By the end of last year, he was playing 36 to 38 minutes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
but then Jorge may wants to do that too. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, no, I'm sure he does. But I mean, I think for in the games, when I feel like they ran out of gas.
Yes,
a lot.
There were a few times. Yep.
And I think having that bench, and you see so many teams inside the GMAC that
10-10, 5-5.
Yeah, I mean, it's how do you match up with that long term? I think you have to kind of do what they do. I mean, or it's going to be tough. I feel like when you're starting to get into tournament play, which lots of times that's where
I was going to say, well, your bids
that's where
come
your
up.
bids come from.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to have no choice.
You have so many now with like Lake Erie and Walsh and Malone and all. You got so many schools now that are playing that 5-5 where they literally play like you start, and when we get to the first TV timeout, you're out, and the second unit comes in, and then doing that. And so when you get in that tournament play, if you were to set up a bracket and you had to play 3 of those teams in a row, where you had to play 3 games, they basically do it in 5 days, and your guys are trying to play 36 to 38 minutes, and they're all playing 20.
Late in the game.
It catches up with the legs.
It makes a big difference. It
does.
Certainly does. But, yeah, you can check it out there, social media. When all's said and done, they're going to make the announcements. Now, granted, Division II commitments, they're still going to be getting guys in the summer. So
all summer long and into August.
This first batch of commits, whenever they announce that, we'll get Coach Cooper to come in.
I think Keith Jones was like a late August, like an early August commitment last year.
And you're still going to get good players that can contribute into the summer. So it'll be worth monitoring.
Before we get to question number 2, I don't know if you saw the stat that came out, and I sent it to you, where it was talking about D2 football players that go in the portal.
Yeah.
62% retire, never play again.
Yeah.
And if D3
is that a surprise though?
No, I mean no, it's not, and that's on the part. Sometimes you think the grass is greener on the other side, and you haven't made where you're at. And there's just so many people in the portal now. Oh, and I think basketball is the same way.
Yeah, and I mean, I was going to parlay that, and I was going to start the show talking Kentucky Wesleyan. Of course, the Kyle Busch news hit us early here today, but the whole landscape, I just think transitioning into that vein a little bit. I think high school athletes and parents
need to completely change.
They need to change their mentality on recruiting.
100%.
Instead of it being like a status.
Yes.
I think that's the part that I'm seeing that kind of bothers me the most is that it's more of a status than it is an opportunity.
It's about getting
now, I could be wrong on that. Now, maybe NIL's coming in here and they're saying, hey, we're going to drop this amount of money on you, and you can take that money and you can go to a program, a high-level Power 4 program, and you can sit on the bench and you can get in the weight room and you can, and you can really learn and soak it in and then transfer. That's one thing. But if you have a mentality that you're going to go to a Power 4 school or a high-level D1 school and contribute right away, then you're delusional. You're flat out delusional. You look at the numbers. Go position by position in college football and look at how many true freshmen are starting at any one given position. And look at the percentages of the high school kids versus who's doing that.
Yes.
It's literally less than 10 at pretty much any spot. And if you're looking at
less than 10, not 10%, 10 in the
10 people.
Yeah, 10
less than 10 people. And if you're looking at quarterbacks or running backs or receivers, the skill position players,
well, linemen
it's probably
too.
less than 5.
Well, most linemen they always redshirt you because they want a year in the weight room to get you in the college weight room. And here's the thing too.
But there's no shame in committing to a JUCO or a D2
let's take football,
and playing immediately.
And let's play football. Like I really want to talk about baseball because I know more about this because I was involved in recruiting at the baseball level. Like there were very few there even before the portal. You had to be a Brad Wilkerson type or a Cole Sturgeon type. We're talking about, the best player in your state.
Baseball especially.
That could go and play immediately at a D1 Power School. But here's what you're also finding out, Steve, this is something we're talking about. And this has been the change of NIL and the transfer portal. So let's just say you're a borderline wide receiver. All right, you're a freshman wide receiver. Just going to throw out Louisville offers you, okay? And you want that, but you have some really good D2 schools that have spots for you to come in and play immediately. And you say, I want the clicks and the likes when I put that post up. I want 50,000 views and not the 2,000 I'm going to get from going to a high-level D2 school. And you go to Louisville, all right, and you're going to redshirt. All right. Here's what's changed about the portal is you may redshirt, okay, where it used to be you were redshirting and you were building a stream. You were in line.
You were in line. Yeah.
Now,
every year the line starts over.
Right. Not only that, when you go to get where it's your turn, what would have been your turn to step in and be the guy. Now the coach is going, hey, I've got this guy who's never played a game before. I haven't really seen him in game action. We've seen him in practice. He's fine. Or I can go get this guy that got 62 catches from Montpelier down here for 1,500 yards, and I have game film on him. You get
which one would you rather have?
100%.
And again, I think it's the key for parents in high school athletes is it's not how you start the process. Nowadays, it's how you finish the process. Well, where do you finish? If you start at a high-level D1 and you finish down here to, low-level JUCO, then was that what you had in mind? Because that's what's happening.
100%.
To 90% of these kids, or they just don't even finish at all.
Right.
So that to me, that's the key. Like, I don't care about where we go in the beginning.
No,
get
go
me somewhere where I'm
play.
comfortable, where I can get snaps, where I can play, where I can put stuff on film. I can grow as a player. And then if you want to, some big dog comes calling, then you can work your way up. But starting at the top is ended up getting kids out of sports. It's getting, like I say, unless you're getting a bag or something, that's different. And you know mentality. I'm not going to ever play here. I'm going to commit here. I'm going to take the bag. I'm going to come and work in this weight room, work under some great coaching, and then I'm going to put myself back out there next year. That's fine. That's different.
But
if you're going there with this mentality like, hey, I'm going to compete for a starting job out of high school, your whole family's delusional.
Yes.
I mean, this is all there is to it.
Yep.
And it's to the detriment of kids.
Even at the baseball level, D1 baseball level, no freshmen, like I said, unless you're Brad Wilkerson or Cole really going and play. And, maybe a pitcher here and there. But what you also find, I've talked to baseball coaches about this, is when, let's say I've got a junior that's playing or a sophomore, and he plays, and now you come up, you've been behind the guy, but you haven't played in 2 years. When you become a junior and you think, okay, now I'm going to, this. Now they're going to go out to a D2 school or a JUCO and get a kid that's got 500 college at bats where you don't have any. We saw this in the OVL. Like, we had Division I schools that would contact us and be like, hey, I want to send you this guy, a second baseman. And then, he's been redshirted. He has 0 bats. Or I can go down to Wabash, a JUCO, one of the best JUCOs.
He's already been playing.
Or a really good top-of-the-line D2 thing. And he's got 300 at bats this season. He's been playing 55 games, hitting 4 times every game. I don't have to wait for him to get hot
100%.
halfway through the summer. This guy comes in ready to play immediately.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you really have to start looking at.
I think baseball's always been the path. I think it's even more now, though,
yes.
that the transfer portal. But I'm talking mostly about football, talking mostly about basketball, especially basketball.
Well,
there's so many less spots. In football, though, you look at the top dogs. You go look at the rosters and look at how many kids are in the portal every year or a 4-star or something that went to any high level D1 school. Mm-hmm. They're in the portal immediately because they never play.
That's why I love, John Moss is going down there.
D2.
He's going to App State. And App State, their big recruiting thing is, hey, if you're as good as we think you are, in 2 years, you're going to be going to somewhere else.
The social media thing is what bugs me.
I know.
It's like I'd rather get a bunch of likes on social media than worried about what's best for my future.
True.
That to me is what's got me hemmed up. And I think that's not just a message to one specific person.
No, it's all over. It's
I think
every
you should
high
just
school.
reevaluate that. Listen to your high school coaches too. I think that's
Van Atten's LA5 question number 2, and we'll move us around a little bit. We've talked about it a little bit, but if I made you the king of the castle, give me your male and female athlete of the year in the ESPN Owensboro area.
I don't have many that pop spring to mind. There's only 2.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you can add to this if you have any more. I'll go Peyton Gray out of Heritage Hills.
Okay.
I mean, if you show me a better contributor across the board, I mean, I'd have to see it.
I don't think there is.
He's pretty much locked that up, right?
I think so. I think you can make a really good case for Ty Ashley because he was the defensive player of the year and he was the 9th district baseball player of the year. But I think where it's really hard to, because Peyton Gray was also a first teamer in football. He's going to be a first teamer in basketball. But he was also averaged 17 points a game in basketball.
Division I commitment
in basketball. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a first-team ESPN guy in football, and he's going to be on our first-team baseball team.
Yeah.
And in basketball, he averaged 17.
Tiebreaker.
I think that's the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I think it's 1-2 right there.
Ashley's a good candidate, though. I mean, that's one that's certainly right there at the top. What about the girls' side? Did you have anybody else on the boys that came to mind?
I think Barrett Evans would be right there if he had to been hurt on both the football and basketball
100%.
side. I got really hurt. No, I think those are the two. I think those are the two answers.
Had Barrett went on and had a, if he'd stayed healthy, I think he's trajectory to be a player of the year guy.
Mhm.
He wins player of the year in baseball and does what he did on the football field. And sure, I mean, there's no doubt.
I think somebody.
Those
I think those are the two. I think those are the two that kind of really stand out. The female side's hard because there's not a lot of great. Off the top of my head,
yeah. One name popped right in there immediately.
That plays multiple sports?
All three.
Okay. Molly Hancock? No, she only plays 2, but I think she would be.
She's in the mix.
She's in the mix.
She was another name. She was the other name I was going to mention. But there's one that's got 3 sports, and they were big contributors in all 3.
The other one I would say, but if she was hurt, Hatfield would be in this conversation with
same
basketball and softball. Oh, same school. Which one is it out there? I'm not
Ella
sure.
Morris.
Morris, yes.
Volleyball, great numbers in volleyball. She averaged right about 9 points a game in basketball.
And then been dominant pitcher all year long. I think she would have to be.
Softball, yeah.
She would be like the second Trinity Raider to get the. They won't name this at the end of the school year.
The thing is Trinity has a little bit of an advantage
they gotta
in
play
that
all the
category because they have no
sports.
choice. If you don't field a team.
Exactly.
So I think, but Ella does it at a very high level.
I think you're right. I think that would be the choice. I think that is the choice for the female athlete of the year. Let's go to question number 3. 12, 16, 24. Those are the ones that have been thrown out there. If I make you the king of college football, what's the correct number for the college football playoffs? So Big Ten and some other schools want 24. SEC wants 12. They may go to 16, but they don't want 24.
Well, you should have asked the other question.
All right, we'll start. I'll go back to it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
So to parlay these in together.
Yeah.
These
So
will
there
be
has been talk.
3 and 4.
There has been talk about the Power 4 splitting away.
Yeah.
And then you would have a group of 6 championship and a Power 4 championship.
Yeah.
Now, most sports, when they had these splits, it hadn't worked that well. Can football's
Football's different.
I don't think so.
Football's different in every aspect.
I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Anytime you're telling millions of fans that your football is so much different than these, you lose fans.
Well, just look at the history. I mean, up until this point in our entire history of college football, there's only been one school to ever win a national title outside of a Power 5, Power 4 conference.
Mm-hmm.
Only one time in history.
It's a Power 4 now.
And they are now.
BYU.
They're the only ones.
1984.
So, I mean, to me, are we really losing anything?
But I mean,
by that?
No, I don't
by
think
doing that.
But you still have to go play.
You're going to tell me that the other 6 or whatever however you phrased it.
Are you going to lose some fans for like Sam Houston State or from Western Kentucky? It's going to watch.
No.
I don't know.
No, I think it'd be more fun for them because now we have an opportunity to actually win a title. Like, right now, I mean, the best you can hope for is maybe you get in the
you get in the playoffs. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, if it's for like a Western or something, even that's a stretch. But like, you start throwing around.
I don't know. A couple of years ago, Western had teams. If they had the same, there have been years if Western had the same.
But they're going to go in there and they're going to get hammered. I mean, they're going to get hammered in the call. And it brings a little bit more excitement. I love this idea. I think this has been where it should have been trending all along. The Power 4 conferences, the main conference, the best teams in the country. the biggest programs.
If you split them, would you force all Power Fours to play all Power Fours?
Yes.
In the regular season,
100%.
No games like
so
Indiana.
that parlays into the other.
But here's what you're also going to hurt though. That will hurt schools like Western that go and get that big payday to help their athletic budgets. From your LSU's and your Auburns.
Maybe you trim it to 12 and do an exhibition game. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what that looks like, and I apologize to them for losing their payday. I mean, I don't know. But I've been on this train for a while. Like, I feel like, if you made me king.
Hold on now. If you're going to split the Power 4 away, I don't need 24.
No, I don't need 24.
Yeah, because you're only talking about 65 schools.
Oh, I need 12 if you do it that way.
Yeah, because you're only talking about 65 schools getting in.
Yeah.
Of being able to win the Division I Power 4 playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, so I would 60. I think there's 60 with Notre Dame in the mix.
I think there's 65 or something.
68.
68. Okay.
Which would mean, so you play. I would split them up into 8. So you have 8 team conferences, and 4. So you have 4 of those 8 teams, and then 4 of the 9 teams, and you just do it like the NFL does, except they're going to play each other. So you're going to play all teams in your conference. And so that's still going to leave you a rivalry game in there. I would absolutely revive all the bowl games, the historic bowl games, the Rose Bowl where you have this conference and this conference played each other. Revive all that, have those same traditional matchups, but you're going to do that right off the rip. Like, that's going to be week 1. That's how you're kicking
I've said
off.
All along, week 0 should be bowl games.
Season, bowl game right off the bat. It's based upon how you finished the year before, just like the NFL does it.
Yep.
And then there's nowhere to hide. Like, you're okay. Well, we want to. So we're going to the Rose Bowl to start the year next year. That's how the season starts. And then you roll through and you have one rivalry game outside of your conference. You can keep those rivalries together. Maybe you play one more and it rotates. If you finished first last year, you play the first place team in the East. The following year, it'd be the first place team in the West. It rotates.
Now, here's the thing.
Constantly. But you're constantly having to play high-level competition. I don't have to sit through Ohio State playing George Rogers State on 3 or 4 Sundays in a row or Saturdays in a row. You actually get to watch good college football games. And people are like, oh, but the conferences, you're going to lose so much money. Dude, you can print money if you put a college system together.
I said all along where they screwed up.
Schedules.
Where they screwed up all along is when they wanted to go in. These conferences started to try to expand because they wanted this big money. The SEC wanted the Big Ten was adding in. ACC brought in Stanford and California and those teams. What they should have done, and then Mike Leach had the answer. Just reset the conferences based on football to have their own conference. Still have the Pac-10, but everybody's football. You make it all one big conference and you break up in divisions based on geography where you get to keep a lot of those rivalries. And football is just different.
It's just different.
Like
that's why I say football needs to be different.
Now, the problem is the SEC and the Big Ten don't want to help the ACC out whenever they're making $60 million on the TV contract. And but the problem is you got schools like in the ACC, like Clemson, who's $1.5 billion in debt.
I think within 2 or 3 years of doing this system, you're instantly grossing more money than you were.
I think
before.
so too.
I just think it's a no-brainer. And then you talk about that. Listen, you get to the playoffs where all 8 division winners would get a bye. I think I did have 24.
You did?
I did have 24.
I still don't know if I need 24 out of 68 teams in there.
I don't disagree, but man, this playoffs is what drives the boat.
I know, but you're going to have a 7 and 6 team in the playoff.
But you'll watch it though. You'll watch it. People will watch it because it's a playoff game.
Well, I mean,
you may not watch 7 and 6.
I don't know.
LSU and
the New York Giants won the Super Bowl and they went 9 and 7 and were a wild card team.
The more games that mean something, the better. So my thought was 1 through 16, you seed them. Right, you get the 8 conference champions get a bye. They all get a bye. Oh, it's home all the way. Look, college football on campuses all the way to the championship, just like they do the Super Bowl.
But you have a Super Bowl somewhere. Oh, it'd be
Sit
awesome.
Down and imagine the atmosphere
because you've already saved the bowl games coming back into the first week 0.
Think about NFL playoff atmospheres on Conference Championship Sunday, and then put that in college football.
Notre Dame hosting Miami at Notre Dame Stadium.
All of a sudden, you have a true threat to the NFL. Like
Yes.
that, the only thing that can threaten the NFL is college football. That's the only thing that can touch it. And the only reason why it's screwed up right now is because you got apples to oranges and people sitting in rooms deciding who's the better team, splitting hairs. Play them an even schedule.
I like it.
Have a big time, massive tournament to end the year where you actually play the games on campuses and then just print the money.
I like it.
SEC, Big Ten, you don't have to be afraid of losing any money. You're gonna be able to print money.
Question number 5. Beechwood and Mayfield football jobs. Well, Beechwood's not open, but they came open. Beechwood coach Volker took a teaching job in Ohio.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah, Beechwood's state championship coach took a job in Ohio as a teacher.
But there's something here to this because he put a big post out on social media. It was getting all kinds of negative traction because he took this job in Ohio to teach. But he wanted to stay at Beechwood.
Okay, well, they didn't let him stay.
I don't necessarily know if he was removed or how that happened, but he put a post out on social media to the parents of Beechwood saying, hey, we're still going to keep this thing rolling. This is just better for me financially and for my family. I'm still the head coach of Beechwood.
Until Beechwood
like
said
a week later, they replaced him with their former coach.
Their former coach who won a state title there. Their former coach is now the interim coach for one season. You know, he retired. That's when they hired Volker. So Volker maybe got forced out when he took that teaching job. Beechwood wanted a teacher.
It's kind of like
if you're
didn't seem mutual.
A Michigan man's going to coach my team in the NCAA tournament. If you remember that with Bill Frieder and
if Beechwood gets enough calls to get him over the hump at Steele last year because they almost did. I mean, is Volker still the guy here? Like, there's no if Volker.
Oh no, he was a state championship. No, he hadn't won one.
What if they rolled in and beat LCA in the championship? I bet they would have let him work in Ohio.
Hold on now. He won the year before, so he already won a state title.
Right.
Then he got beat in the Final Four.
This seems like a Coach Taylor situation.
I think this is a situation where a Michigan man is going to coach Michigan in the NCAA tournament, and that's how you get Steve Fisher. Now, here's my question.
I'm ignorant to it.
If you're Mayfield, do you have to go out and get Joe Morris to be your interim coach for a season?
I mean, you certainly want it.
I mean, because in this time of year, it's hard to hire a football coach. Most people already got jobs. Or do you kind of wait around?
Oh, I mean, I'd put all kinds of pressure on Morris to come back.
I don't know how much Joe Morris could do whatever Joe Morris
not
wants.
Pressure, but like, please come back, please. Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's a no-brainer. How about Pulaski hiring Mercer? Pulaski's coach, Travis Burns, got hired at Mercer.
It's a really good job. And listen, what I liked about it is I don't know if reports out there, depends on if you believe what you read. Reports out there is he's getting Georgia high school state money, $100,000 to coach football and teach at Mercer.
Man,
that's what the reports are.
Caleb, now, if you got a spot on your staff, I'm ready to try this out.
You go down there to Alabama and Georgia or Texas, those coaches are making $100,000 to $200,000. They may teach one class.
Mercer wants to win.
They must want to. Well, evidently, I mean, the program was in kind of, I think it had numbers problems coming this year. They were talking about not having a team this year until they made this move. Yeah. But I mean, hey, that's how you parlay a state runner-up.
Yeah.
Like, that's college level parlaying where you're at a smaller school.
That's going to be a fascinating program to watch, see how it grows. Mm-hmm. Like, is this going to work out? I think a big jump's coming for Somerset, though. Like Pulaski, I think there's a shift going on there.
I think so, too.
Clevenger up there is no joke.
No.
I mean, it's hopefully for Aces fans, they find a way to get them back up into 3A. I think Somerset's coming. I think they're on the rise.
Isn't it like that in Richmond and E-Town are like three of the fastest growing cities in the state? I mean, I know E-Town and Richmond are the fastest growing.
I can't. Don't get me started on E-Town. I mean, because I was going to ask a true or false question yesterday that would have shook the foundation of the city. But I decided not to. I'm not a controversial guy. So
I don't know.
We'll talk about it off the air.
All right.
When we come back, I tell you what, we'll do a little MLB standings. We're going to take it abbreviated live at 5. We're going to get over to Landon Clark's signing.
We are.
So we'll take a quick break, look at the MLB standings, and get out of here live at 5, 102.7 The Game.
Ready to transform your home without overspending? Stop by Fisher's Furniture at 910 Main Street in Tell City. Discover trusted brands like Flex Steel, Homestretch, Liberty, American Wholesale, and more. All with our price match guarantee. That's right. If you find a better deal, we'll match it. Why drive out of town when the best furniture, value, and expert service are waiting right here at home? Plus, enjoy free local delivery to make shopping even easier. Visit Fisher's Furniture on Main Street in Tell City, where your dream home is just around the corner.
Looking for your next go-to spot for nonstop fun? It's all happening at Diamond Lanes Echo in Henderson. 16 brand new lanes with updated scoring, 7 retro-style lanes inside our remodeled bar area, along with billiards and darts. Perfect for friendly competition and laid-back vibes. Bring your appetite, order from our full kitchen, and then light up the night with moonlight bowling every Friday and Saturday. And don't forget weekly favorites like Quarter Mania every Wednesday and Sunday night. From the first roll to the last strike, the excitement never stops at Diamond Lanes Echo in Henderson.
Make the most of every lawn with Kubota commercial landscaping equipment. From the productivity boosting Z700 series mower to the reliable SVL track loader. It's a lineup built to get the job done right, because when your reputation is on the line, you need equipment that will never let you down. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Check us out today at Hagen's Outdoor Equipment with 3 locations to serve you. Highway 54 in Philpott, Salem Drive in Owensboro, and Power Machinery on Highway 41 in Hanson. We appreciate your business.
Looking to sell a firearm? Before you deal with meeting up with strangers, bring it to 270 Tactical. Not only do they sell quality firearms and accessories, they buy them too, and they pay top dollar. Whether you're downsizing your collection, upgrading, or just ready to sell, 270 Tactical makes it simple, safe, and professional. No hassle, no sketchy meetups, just top dollar offers. Stop by 270 Tactical today and turn your firearms into cash. 270 Tactical, located at 1737 Sherm Road.
If hunger's calling you, go to Moonlight Barbecue. Stop in today, eat their buffet. You'll be satisfied and on your way. It's down on Parish Avenue. That's Moonlight Barbecue.
The market moves fast, and so should your realtor. That's why buyers and sellers choose Shane Cavan with RE/MAX Professional Realty Group. Shane works quickly, strategically, and with the expertise needed to help you win in today's competitive real estate market. She knows how to spot opportunities, negotiate confidently, and keep every step moving forward. From the first showing to closing day, Shane makes buying or selling your home simple, smooth, and stress-free. Your future is waiting, so call 270-485-2348 to dream big, move fast with Shane Cavan, Realtor with RE/MAX Professional Realty Group.
Whether you're flipping burgers in the backyard or feeding a full-blown crowd, one sauce shows up ready to win. It's Van Etten's award-winning Pitmaster Barbecue Sauce. Packed with bold flavor, smoky goodness, and that straight-off-the-pit taste. Go classic with original. Turn it up with sweet heat. Or bring the fire with hot and spicy. However you grill it, make it unforgettable. Grab yours today at Hillview Farms, Rural King, or Reed's Orchard. Van Etten's. Pit perfect every time.
Step into Cabinet Doors and More off Highway 54 in Fordsville, where we offer much more than just cabinet doors. Explore a diverse range of furniture items, including custom-made wardrobes, kitchen islands, and cozy couch tables. Check out our butcher block countertops, perfect for adding warmth and style to any kitchen. From nightstands to mantles for your fireplace, our selection is ready for immediate pickup. Find out why a trip to Fordsville is well worth it. Keep up with our latest additions by following Cabinet Doors and More on Facebook.
Local sports at its finest, live at 5 with Stephen A. Turner and Vic Evans on 102.7 The Game.
Live at 5, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry, FWHlegal.com. Stephen A. Turner, Vic Evans here, taking you home on a Thursday. It'll be a really quick final segment here. I was going to look at the MLB standings. Haven't done
the
this.
most important thing in the MLB. Garrett Cole makes the start tomorrow.
Oh, back.
That's the most important thing.
Back.
Yeah.
But let's start in the National League. We'll just run through these real quick. National League East, Braves 9 games up on the Phillies. Phillies right at 500 now. It seemed like that's been a little while since sometime last year. But Braves 34-16. Is that the best record in baseball?
The Rays have the best record in baseball.
33-15. The Rays. Okay,
yeah, the Rays.
Braves though, are you buying them staying hot long term like that?
I think they'll be a playoff team. I mean, well, here's the thing with the National League Central, where every team is still above 500.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's going to be tough.
I haven't looked at the
standings. And then you also look. What is it? What do you get? 3 wild card teams, right? If I'm right on that,
yeah, 3. Yeah.
So Padres, you got to figure they're probably going to be a wild card team because the Giants and Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, there's going to be enough wins there. The Padres are going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Right? Then you think maybe 2 teams out of the Central or the Phillies. That's where you're at. Like, can the Phillies keep playing well? Now, they've gotten back above 500 now. I think the Phillies are a playoff team. I do think the Braves will be a playoff team. I worry about their pitching because of the injuries they've had, if it'll really hold up long term. But and then one other team out of the Central.
Yeah, Brewers, Cubs. The Reds and Pirates are at the bottom. Do they stay there? They're only 4.5.
No, I think now the Reds. I had them both making the playoffs. I
Reds
still
are on
think
a downswing right now.
Their
started
bullpen
really
is
well.
so bad. The only bullpen worse than the Yankees in all of baseball is the Reds.
Baseball's unpredictable. It's not even June yet. There's not even any reason to talk about this.
No, but you're starting to see what has to happen. Like I do think it's going to be a buyer's market come. I think there's going to be a lot of sellers because usually there's a lot of teams kind of in the peripheral of the wild card race. I don't think you're going to have that last. And you have teams like the Yankees. If the Reds are still hanging around, they got to go get bullpen help.
Pick it. I mean, who wins the East? NL East.
Cubs. Oh, the NL East. The Braves.
Phillies
go to the wild card.
Central.
Cubs.
Yeah, I picked the Cubs at the beginning of the year.
Probably the Brewers for the wild card.
Cubs and Brewers wild card. Dodgers and Padres.
Yes.
That's my pick as well.
Yep.
Let's go to the American League. Is Tampa Bay the best pound-for-pound organization in baseball?
It's the best pound-for-pound organization in sports.
Not just right now.
No,
I just mean as a whole.
In sports. What they get out of what they have is the best pound for
bang
pound.
for your buck.
It is the best organization in sports.
How they do it. Like it is a true Moneyball situation.
I mean,
they don't spend anything.
It's not just that. They are really good. Here's one thing they're really good at. They will sell early on guys.
Yeah.
And then they get a lot of young talent for them. You're thinking, how can you do that? You still control him for 2 more years? And they see the fall coming early, whether it's looking at some analytic numbers, because the guys that leave there where they're putting up unbelievable years for the Rays at $200,000.
What's it like to pull a guy from the minors that you've heard about for 5 years? You're like, oh, here he comes. And then a year later, he sucks. It's like that's what I know about
the Yankees,
prospects.
That's the Volpe.
But the Rays, they pull a guy out of the minor leagues. He's the next MVP candidate, or Cy Young every time. It's like, where I don't understand
until he gets arrested.
Yankees are a playoff team, though.
They are a playoff team, but they can't win the World Series with that bullpen. They got to make some major bullpen adjustments.
Yeah, it could be a deadline situation. The Guardians are pulling away. The White Sox are above 500.
The White Sox have been the surprise.
Above 500.
Here's the team that's been the biggest disappointment has been the Tigers. I mean, now some of that's with the injury. Skubal. You should have traded Skubal when you had the chance because you're not going to get anything for him now.
Yeah, and he's just going to walk. And the West is a mess. I mean, the A's are in front.
They're terrible
by a game.
No, the West is terrible.
Game over. They're a game over Texas.
That's another team that a lot of good young guys. And here's what the A's have done. Unlike Tampa, it's kind of weird. Tampa gets the young players. They get them for the first 3 years. They control them. And before the arbitration really kicks in, they sell off. The A's went in and paid basically all their young guys big long-term contracts to buy out the arbitration years. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's early. So you got Rays, Yankees,
Guardians, A's.
A's are a playoff team.
Yeah,
you think?
I think they make the playoffs.
Right. I'm going Mariners to win that division.
I don't think so.
They're only 2 games out.
Kyle Raleigh was a one-hit wonder. He was the Brady Anderson of this. He was Brady Anderson.
What about the White Sox? Are they a playoff team?
I mean, I think they may be. I think they may hang around.
I'll take Texas and Seattle in the Yankees.
Okay.
There you go. That's all we got. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, we're from Friday after 5 tomorrow.
Live at 5. 102.7 The Game.
You've been listening to Live at 5 on 102.7.